Tonight, we begin a new segment on 9 on Your Side called Positively Cincinnati. So I've been talking to some of your neighbors. This week, I'd like you to meet Tracy Wilson. She takes her passion for an art form into the community. Her why is very personal. Have you been to the opera at Music Hall? If not, we know a woman.
Oh my goodness.
Who wants to get you there.
Hey there. How are you?
Albeit by way of a slight detour. Her road to the iconic Over the Rhine building runs through church. On this day, it was the Allen Temple. Go and you'll hear gospel. You'll hear jazz. And boy, will you hear opera.
All in one night, so that's pretty special.
By taking the familiar and meshing it with the new, and for many, opera is new. Tracy Wilson's goal is to grow the fan base for the Cincinnati Opera.
You have your drama, you have your love story, someone dies, you have a soundtrack.
Her obvious love for the art form was born when she was just a kid. It was a different time for African Americans in the city. Tracy could see that at Music Hall.
I wonder why there weren't more people like me here. I wanted to change that.
A childhood dream became reality. 34 years ago, Tracy got a job at the opera and worked her way into community relations.
So Tracy, Opera Goes to Church was born.
If diverse groups weren't coming to Music Hall, she decided to take a bit of the hall to them, throwing opera singers into that gospel and jazz mix at community homes of worship. 14 years in, her Opera Goes to Church still is playing to a full house in every house of God it visits. And just look at the faces in the crowd.
So I asked the choir if there was one word to describe this event, what would it be? And they came up with this. 3, 2, 1.
It brings us all together. I've met new people. I've seen smiling faces.
It's a unification of different but similar musical art forms, too.
We started in church. My first conductor was my choir director.
My music is really rooted in my religion.
And I guess the passion in that can be the same passion that you have in an aria, and it's amazing.
She's not the only one who thinks so. At one of the performances, a mom of color tapped Tracy on the shoulder.
She said, we are definitely buying tickets to Porgy and Bess. She said, it may break the bank, but we are going to see Porgy and Bess. She said, all of us, the whole family. And I'm just like, wow.
That girl who hoped for diversity at Music Hall would be proud.
Is it a full circle moment for you?
It is a full circle moment. It's humbling. And so, yeah.
Opera in the Park is this weekend. The opera season at Music Hall begins June 13th and runs through the end of July. I am looking for more stories that are positively Cincinnati. If you have a great story to share, reach out to me on Facebook. It's Kristen Hartman, WCPO. And you know what, Craig, one thing that I learned from Tracy, and I love when we pick up little history pieces, is Music Hall really had two identities back in the day. And when African Americans went to use the ballroom, it was called the Greystone. And when white people went to use it, it was called the Topper. She says we've come a long way since then.
We certainly have, and there's so much history in that building
Oh,
as well.
God.
But thanks for sharing that. I look forward to some positive stories here in the Tri-State.
Thank you.
Reach out to her. Let her know something positive in your community.
Yeah.